Favorite movie show. This is Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs. We use the stuff that gets you drunk. And shout out to Yuengling Brewery this week. Thank you for accidentally sponsoring the show, because you are what the military BX had in stock. I'm just kidding. They have everything in stock. I chose you, Yuengling, just like you should choose us.
Absolutely.
Now, we're going to start in the usual place where we always get started. Jordan, what were you watching this week?
All right, so I got to catch a movie that was in the theater for a short time, but it's
I thought you were about to say To Catch a Predator. I'm Chris Hansen.
Dude, terrible TV, but just super entertaining. That was fun. Yeah, so this was in the theater for a short run. It's jumped to streaming. I believe it's on Peacock app.
Check it out.
It's called Champions, starring Woody Harrelson and Cheech Marin, and Caitlin Olsen from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The girl,
love her.
Yeah,
love
she's
a bird.
Really funny in this one.
D, you're a bird.
The setup for the movie is slow, little cliche. It's a disgraced basketball coach gets a DUI and ends up having to coach adults with developmental disabilities as his community service.
Uh-huh.
It's cute, it's lighthearted, it's funny, it's all that. Like we always say, I don't always hate the love story that's wedged in the way I think you've said you do.
Yeah,
I don't always hate it. It can be done right, but this one is just super annoying.
Okay.
Because she's basically her character in Always Sunny. Like, she's just super aggressive and just like...
Yes.
It doesn't... And Woody Harrelson's kind of overall demeanor, if you can picture that, it just doesn't work.
Okay.
It's really predictable, the movie.
Yeah, it's hard to see them, actually, like, in real life in a couple.
Yeah, it's weird, and they just, like... There's just no chemistry there. Really.
Yeah, I can see that 100%.
It's really forced. The movie's predictable. It's about 20 minutes too long. It's a really long movie. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes, about the same run as Guardians almost.
Okay.
It ends with a really random Woody Harrelson piano ballad. Like,
wait, like 7 Pound style?
Yeah, like the credits are rolling and it's just him in the dark playing the piano by himself. Like,
okay.
And it's like, all right, do I stay and watch this or do I just cut it off here? Like,
I was thinking 7 Pounds when he gets he gets Will Smith's eyes for the transplant, and he does the little toot scoot at the end of 7 Pounds.
No. It's like a Marvel credit scene, but not good. I mean, he's playing the hell out of the piano, I guess, but it just doesn't make any sense. I give this one
to show off the skill.
Right? Yeah, definitely. He's been taking lessons. I give it a popcorn. 1
popcorn. Isn't that the storyline of The Rebound with Martin Lawrence?
It's been done. I don't think those kids were developed. I think they were just kind of not coordinated athletic kids. So yeah, next up, I also got to watch babyJ, John Mulaney, the one you reviewed last week. So I'll just keep this short. Confession: I've never watched a full John Mulaney special. I've only heard bits on like stand-up comedy satellite radio, which is a thing that weird people like me listen to regularly.
You're not weird, man. When I run out of like podcasts to listen to, that's a really easy like listen is flip to like what is it, like 99, 91 and up, or like the comedy channels, and you just flip through till you find someone that you like and listen to their set.
Shout out to Netflix is a joke radio. They got the best comedy channel out there right now. But that's where I hear most stand-up comedy. Is where I go, oh, okay, you know what? I need to go and watch that special. I just hear like a bit from it.
Sirius Satellite Radio, I think, has that cornered. I think Pandora tried to do some stand-up comedy stuff for a while, but Sirius does it just right because it's just an easy listen when you're driving.
Yeah. I laughed throughout this special. I thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. You kind of didn't. What was your review again? Remind me. What'd you give
I
it?
gave it a
Just
popcorn and a beer. I thought it was
okay.
fine. I thought it was all about his journey through rehab. I thought he had some
Right.
funny bits. Like some of the bits were funny.
Yeah.
I would probably stick to a popcorn and beer after I found out the kid is a plant and that kid is he's used
Really?
that bit in a couple different cities. Yes, and he actually had that kid flown in for the Netflix special. So it took some of the cheer out of it for me. Like some people were like, "Oh, I think that's brilliant," and I was kind of like, it's lame." Like I know they have to like
Yeah.
sharpen their skills when they're out on the road and they put it before they do the special. But I'm kind of like that. Like he did a great job of acting and making it seem authentic. But then I heard that it's a plant, so I'm kind of like, oh, now it's less funny.
Yeah. Hey, don't meet your heroes. You'll be disappointed. Don't Google your heroes. How about that?
Yeah, right.
This I give it a popcorn and two.
Okay, popping
Yeah.
two.
So I had to watch something Marvel this week in
Okay.
honor of our butter on top Guardians of the
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy. So I got around to watching Daredevil, the TV show, season 1,
Mm-hmm.
not the movie with Ben Affleck and
Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner. Yeah. And D'Onofrio is Kingpin in that one as well, right? In the original movie?
No.
No?
Michael Clark Duncan.
Really?
Like complete opposite. Yeah,
God,
it's
I don't
Michael
remember
Clark
that at all.
Duncan.
I wanted to watch that after this, but I just ran out of time. But anyways, we'll get into season 1 of Daredevil, the TV show. Originally was on Netflix, now it's on Disney Plus. D'Onofrio's Kingpin is great. His dialogue is great, his physical acting is great, all that. But his deliveries of the lines is just too much for me.
You think it's too much? Like too theatrical?
Yeah, it's just at some points it's really badly overacted. He's like Frankenstein
Overacted?
a little bit. He's like, but like I said, everything
Okay.
else is good. Like his physical acting is great, but just
Yes.
the voice he does is like Frankenstein Batman.
Why?
It's like
Okay. Okay.
or like he's holding in a fart like the whole time he's like delivering his lines.
The only thing that got me with this, I want to hear the end, and I'll tell you the only thing
Okay.
that I really didn't like about his performance, because it came in like the later episodes.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, and so when he started speaking Mandarin, I lost it. I started it was like, oh man. That delivery it just didn't work for me, but I'm not totally going to crap all over it. He was fantastic. There's nobody better for that role, honestly.
Yeah, he's perfect. He's a perfect Kingpin to me, but
yeah.
okay, you felt like it was a little too theatery.
Yeah, so that's all I got on him. What was your comment on?
Oh, just the end, like the final episodes. I think episode 9 and 10 when he fights Daredevil, when he fights Matt Murdock. When he gets enraged, he makes a noise and he goes. I hated that. I was like, why is he making that noise? Like, I think it's supposed to be like a scream, but it sounds more like a squeal, if that makes sense. I thought that was ridiculous. I don't know why he made that choice. I don't know why the director didn't have him read, or they probably did. Like, why was that the take you went with? It's the weirdest noise for that a man that size to make. But
yeah,
that was it. That was my only issue. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he did a great job of portraying the Kingpin in the way the Kingpin thinks he is. Definitely delusions of grandeur with the Kingpin with undertones of pain. So.
Well, I see, because I'm kind of reverse watching it because this came out a long time ago, but I've seen all of the Disney Plus Marvel shows,
Hawkeye.
and he, as you may know, yeah, he's in Hawkeye, and Hawkeye kind of gives you the illusion that he has some kind of superhuman capabilities. Like he just takes some punishment that you don't think a regular person would be able to survive, and like keep coming forward. Yeah, exactly. So watching this, I was like obviously he has the suit that's kind of ballistic armor of some sort. But I was just kind of confused by that watching it in reverse. So I don't know if there's something coming up in the future series where he gets some kind of ability. I don't know. We'll see. The action's great. The secondary storylines aren't terribly boring. They're okay. I don't hate any of it, but some of it is a little too drawn out, if you ask me. This is not your kids' MCU.
No,
it's graphic, it's gritty, it's gory, it's good though. It's
I
really, really
definitely
good.
episode 2. I can spoil it now. I think it's been almost 10 years.
Dude, it's been a while, yeah.
But like I think it's episode 2 or episode 3 where Daredevil puts the guy's head through a pole, and I was like, "Oh shit!" like out
Yeah,
loud.
oh, he puts his own head through a pole.
Yeah, the guy with the goatee. He like puts the pole. Yeah, oh, that's right. He puts his own
Yeah, he goes
eyeball.
whack. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh shit!" because it
Yeah, I was
showed
not
it. I was like,
expecting that.
"Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not in a Marvel show."
No, yeah, I was totally caught off guard. And by
Yeah,
some of the like innuendos in the language and stuff, I was like,
yeah,
all right, this is definitely Netflix. His costume at the beginning, I know it's not supposed to be good when the hero's kind of starting out, but
yeah.
it's ridiculous.
He's blind.
But it's absolutely ridiculous how
It's just a
nobody
bandana.
I know, and nobody can tell who he is.
I mean, it's just his mouth.
Still, the voice, I feel like if you known this guy, like his buddy, like if you known this guy for a long time,
Foggy.
if you can't,
Yeah.
I hate his name. It's so
Wait,
distracting.
I can't remember. Do you meet his girlfriend in season 1? Foggy's girlfriend?
The blonde, the
Yeah.
lawyer girl.
Did she call him Foggy Bear?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just every time his name is, man, I kind of roll my eyes. Like it takes me out of it.
Okay.
Oh my god, his name is so stupid. Like I understand, like maybe you choose your own nickname, sometimes you don't. But
Yeah.
like, why was that one that you would adopt yourself?
It's the comic book, man.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, everybody's got a pretty stupid name. I love Eldon Hansen, who plays Foggy, by the way.
Mhm.
As an actor, he's always kind of like, the sidekick or like a bit part guy. He's from he's from one of my favorite childhood cult classic horror films, Idle Hands.
Okay.
Which is
yes.
crazy to think about because I feel like that movie came out like a really long time ago. I mean, I think it was late 90s.
Yes, late 90s. 97,
and
98.
He's really young, and I just felt like he should be a lot older, but I don't know. My perception of time, I don't know, maybe a little off.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can't stand that dynamic in shows where there's the friendship and it's like, "Wah, you kept secrets from me." But I hate that. It's like, dude,
we're just friends. We're not lovers.
Exactly. Who cares? Just like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, you're the guy. That's awesome. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's badass. My best friend's a superhero.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, can you get me some of that toxic shit? And maybe we won't go blind, but we'll figure out a way to where.
Ears.
Yeah, exactly. I've had the gift of hearing for long enough.
Let's see if it gives me X-ray vision.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad that they eased that out of the story pretty quickly. It only lasts for, I don't know, an episode and a half, and they're kind of like, more important things to get to. It's a great setup for the rest of a show for kicking off this Defenders series, I guess. I give it a popcorn and 3.
Yeah, I also give it a popcorn and 3. I think it's one of the best things that ever came out of Marvel. I know it was Netflix. I think Netflix should have followed that template because that in my opinion, the Daredevil series, at least season 1 and season 2, was some of the best television like I've ever. I cannot believe it didn't win an Emmy. Like I think it was just because it was one of the like maiden voyages from streaming networks into television. And I just don't. He did such a good job. Like, how do you not at least nominate him for the hallway scene where he's in the hallway and he's like exhausted, falling up against the wall, still fighting all those guys? Remember, that was one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen. Like, and the way I can't remember, Charlie Cox is the actor's name. The way he acted that out, like you felt it, like you could see his exhaustion. You could see he didn't have actual like superpowers. He was just simply enhanced from the injury. And you could see it, like you could see he was human. He was exhausted, but like it was more of a willpower thing. That's where I was like, this show's badass. Like this is such a good show.
One part that I'm kind of conflicted on thinking back on is when he's talking about which was a fantastic episode, Stick, the one with the old man.
Yeah.
Great. I love that episode where he's like, oh, you got these silk sheets. This stuff is going to kill you. This is going to make you soft, basically is what he's saying.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't use cotton sheets. They feel like sandpaper on my skin. But it's like, if that's the case, like, wouldn't anything be too much for him?
Probably.
Like I can't have
Silk, I
I
guess.
can't yeah, like I can't he wears suits, like all his suits aren't made of silk. Like at some point he has to come in contact
true.
with it. So it's just like it was too much. It was a little bit of a plot hole. I was like, unnecessary.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we all get that he has heightened senses, but that kind of took it to a place where it's like, oh, that's too far.
Do you think that role, the actor that plays Stick, led to him getting the role in Don't Breathe? And Don't Breathe too?
That is the same guy, huh?
Yeah.
I'm just now realizing that. Yeah, probably. He played it
Plays
well.
a blind character in 3 different...
Yeah. The blind sensei.
Yeah.
Badass guy.
With
Yeah.
enhanced other senses because he can't see.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely. I can see that.
Maybe. For me, I just watched the only extra show I watched, or movie, pardon me, was Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I wanted to gear up for this. And also I recalled like a lot of people kind of trashed Guardians of the Galaxy 2, saying it was too campy, saying that it wasn't new enough, it wasn't original, it just copied a lot of the tropes from the first one. And I rewatched, I was like, no, I disagree. I actually really like this film. Kurt Russell, hello, goodbye, Kurt Russell. Hello, goodbye, Ego. Mantis, welcome to the family. Baby Groot, a phenomena. The only reason Baby Yoda is a thing is because Baby Groot came first. That's it. Like that's it.
Yep. Baby Groot walked so Baby Yoda could run.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. In rewatching it, go ahead.
No. You're good.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack is fantastic. I'll get to Guardians 3 when we do that review of our Butter on Top this week. It was only a little weak in the soundtrack portion there as far as the other movies are concerned, especially now that I've seen 3.
Yeah.
I think 2 was the weakest in the soundtrack, but I think they were trying to progress the story a little bit. It is Drax's coming out party to me. Like, yes, Drax is great in 1, but you get to see more of Batista doing Drax in 2, I think. And I believe that that's the start of him being a really, really good actor, is what he's able to pull off as Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So for me, that movie is a popcorn and 2 beers. I believe it to be one of the better Marvel films. I think the whole Guardians series is probably some of the best stuff that Marvel has put out. What do you think? From what you remember of Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
I remember not liking thinking Mantis's character existing outside of this movie. I just never felt like she fit. And she's great in this movie. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
But I've always like, they're going to keep her around. Like, I don't really get where she fits in the Marvel, in the extended universe of things, you know? But, and it's like, so that kind of makes her, because she doesn't have the powers, that kind of makes her like a comic relief character, which is kind of what they turn Drax into slowly.
I think she adds the empathy that we need in the show.
Yeah.
And I think, again, when we get to Butter on Top, we really start to see that evolve with that character. Because not a lot of these characters have empathy. They're all iron on the outside or emotional. What's the meme that's everywhere right now? Emotional damage. Right? Like that's almost every Marvel hero.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a post that's saying like, okay, we've reached the point where every trilogy is basically them just taking your favorite hero and just breaking them down mentally and emotionally to their lowest point in their life. Like that's where Spider-Man's kind of at right now. That's where Guardians went, Iron Man went there.
We don't have time to get it. I was going to say, you thought that's where they took Peter Parker in what was it, No Way Home? But we'll talk about that another time. Let's get to, before we really dive, I'm sorry, audience, we're going to make you wait. We're going to get into the Butter on Top here in a moment. But first, the Drunk Classic. It was my Drunk Classic, so I will lead off. We did Boogie Nights, and let's just say, I forgot. P.T. Anderson basically directed a long infomercial on why drugs are bad.
Yeah.
That's what I will say. Now, still to me, a great movie. Fantastic. For me, it's a popcorn and 2 beers. Not quite perfect because it has some things about it that are a little ridiculous. But when you go back in the time that it came out, it attacks a lot of issues where maybe it's a bit ahead of its time. in when this movie came out. It attacks like homosexuality. It attacks the
Yeah.
porn industry and how people in the adult film industry are mislabeled and how they're treated. It attacks, drug use. It attacks dreaming in a way that maybe your family and your parents won't accept. It is Burt Reynolds at his absolute best. Burt Reynolds is on fire in this movie. He plays that character perfectly, and now I after watching it again, I can't see Burt Reynolds as anything else. Like, that's who Burt Reynolds is to me. William H. Macy's lack of a character arc, because you know exactly who his character is from jump, is perfect. He didn't need a character arc. He was an ancillary character that played a big, memorable role. And it is fantastic. It is great to see young Philip Seymour Hoffman, R.I.P. Rest in power, young man. It is great to see John C. Reilly as a skinny guy concerned with his muscles and how buff he is. And it's one of the parts that will always stand out to me. Not just that Mark Wahlberg is a child. He literally is a child. Oh, and Don Cheadle, by the way. Great to see Don Cheadle.
Yeah. Concerned with his look?
Yes, his look. What's hip? What's cool? No one else is doing this right now.
The cowboy look is coming back.
Yes. But I will end my review with this. I've already told you it is a popcorn and 2 for me forever, because there are some issues with the film. But one of my favorite things ever, it's not any of the William H. Macy stuff. It is, in fact, the benefactor, the gentleman that money rolls all these films. Yes, later you find out this guy is I called him a gentleman, and he's a pedophile, so I apologize. Yeah. You find out later this guy is into some bad stuff when it comes to children. However, it is so it's almost comically perfect, where he first meets Mark Wahlberg's character, Dirk Diggler, for the first time, and he goes, "I heard you got a big hurt, huh?" Yeah. And Mark Wahlberg goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Can I see it?" Right now? Yeah. Let me see it. I don't know. That just stands out to me, because I think that'd be such an odd interaction, and they treat it like it's totally normal because of the industry. Like, it's totally normal. One last thing. Only you will get this unless the audience has seen Boogie Nights, but this is the second time in a row, bro. This is the second time in 2 nights this has happened to me.
Yeah. I literally have that same line written down. That's one of those.
On to you.
That's one of those scenes, like, that's famous from this movie. Oh God, that stuff makes me cringe though. I hate seeing just personally, I hate watching the slow downward drug spiral movies. That's oh God, it makes your skin crawl.
Yeah. Okay. That's where you emote. That's where you become Mantis. You're empathetic to the struggle.
Yeah, like especially, God, what scene is it? Where the 2 ladies, Roller Girl and Julianne Moore, they're just going back and forth, and they're just manically just in that room, just going through all these topics and I'm like, oh God, it just gives me the creeps. It's one of those movies where I've seen the entire movie, I think like once, but I've seen the first about hour or so of this movie up to the part where Philip Seymour Hoffman just randomly kisses Mark Wahlberg's character.
He confesses his love. Yeah. He shoots his shot. To use the vernacular of today. He shoots his shot.
Shows up with the same car as him. The same Corvette.
So weird.
Yeah. Like, this guy's going to murder me. Yeah,
right.
I've seen it up to about that part about, I don't know, 10, 15 times.
Okay, so right before William H. Macy goes all murder-suicide.
Yeah. And I have to admit, the first time I saw the movie, I thought that's where Philip Seymour Hoffman's character was going. I thought he was going to lose his mind, because he just seems kind of that unstable guy. So, like you said, William H. Macy, that's a intense scene there. Where did they expect that to go? Like, the wife, the way she treats him, I mean, you never want to say that, because that's never the answer to those things, but it's like, man,
why was he still in that relationship?
Exactly. Just leave. That's the appropriate. Just leave, man.
Just
find someone else. You're in the porn industry, to like You'll be okay,
She's
dude.
trash. She was such a
Yeah.
trashy person.
Yeah. What's the mom's problem? Mark, is she just like a drunk? Is that why
I
she's,
don't
because she's got
know,
the
but she
bottle
was
there?
way too touchy with her son and way too I guess that's like very 70s parenting though. Like, I own you, I own all of this stuff. You're
Yeah.
ungrateful, you idiot type stuff, you know?
Yeah. I feel like there's some parts in there that could have, like, I feel like a lot of, I feel like Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, I mean, as great as an actor as he is, I feel like his character just could have not been in the movie.
Yeah, you're
It
probably right,
made, it made
but he's
no,
a great actor.
I know. It's like, oh, let's
And
get another face in there.
PT loves him too. PT
Was he
loves him.
unknown? Was he an unknown going into this movie? I don't know his full
Well, he had
filmography.
done a few ancillary roles, but he's a P.T. Anderson like mainstay, like Dazed and Confused,
Right. Okay.
Boogie
Right.
Nights, Magnolia.
Yeah.
So he's been a mainstay in many of his movies. And remember, have you seen Licorice Pizza yet?
No.
So in
No.
Licorice Pizza, P.T. Anderson cast his son, Philip Seymour Hoffman's
Okay.
son.
Okay.
So it's his guy.
So I felt like they could have cut a little bit of that, and there's a few other things that just probably shouldn't have been in the movie, and maybe they could have expanded a little bit on why his mom is so fucking crazy, and what
Yeah,
kind of like why Mark Wahlberg's kind of the way he is, because he's kind of a weirdo.
he's on the spectrum, man.
Yeah, he's kind of a weirdo
That
working in the place, and
He's on the spectrum before we knew what the spectrum was, for sure.
yeah, with his kung fu, I love everything. Before he does everything, doing his Bruce Lee poses. You're a
Yeah.
star. You're a star.
I know kung fu, man. I know kung fu.
Yeah.
I know karate.
I actually named my Roomba, my robot floor vacuum cleaner. His name
Yeah.
is Dirt Diggler. So yeah.
A takeaway.
So yeah, a takeaway from this, just in case you're wondering, Dirt Diggler is the name of my Roomba vacuum.
I think the crowd was like hanging on that one.
Yeah.
It was a clip
Yeah.
for them, and they were like, "Is he gonna tell us? Is he gonna tell us what his Roomba's name is?"
Yeah. There's humor, there's drama. Like I said, I don't like watching the slow drug spirals. It's an all-time classic movie. I don't know if this story needed to be 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Could have been a little bit closer to 2 hours, 2 hours and 15. I'd give it. I give it a popcorn and 2 as well.
Popcorn and 2, right on.
Yeah.
And it is a classic. I think it's not just a drunk classic. I think it is an American classic film. I think it's viewed as such.
It's one of those movies that you have to see. You have to watch. Everybody should have to watch this movie. I think once you're 18 and you can handle the themes and all of that, definitely everyone should see this movie.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And I think we move from that to a film with our butter on top that everyone will eventually see.
Yeah.
And that is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So I know what I thought. I kind of told you in the production meeting, but you didn't give away your thoughts. You kept your lead buried. So, what did you think?
If you're animal sensitive,
Trigger warning.
trigger warning.
Anna couldn't watch.
Yeah, this
Anna
is basic.
watch.
It was tough. It was really hard to watch some of the scenes for me.
Yeah.
Besides the nightmare robot spider rabbit, screw that
loved
thing.
Floor.
Get it out of here.
Floor. Floor was awesome.
I hated that thing. It reminded me of one of the things from like Toy Story. One of the like crazy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. With the doll head on top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't like it, but yeah, this movie is basically a PETA ASPCA infomercial. The Sarah McLachlan commercial, the "In the Arms of the Angel," in the arms of. You never seen those commercials with the really sad looking animals? It's basically.
Did you forget the years I was in the military? Of course, I've seen those commercials at 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
This movie is basically half of the movie is those infomercials.
The flashbacks.
Yeah. I did not think that they could pull off. I didn't think that the whole movie was going to be centered around Rocket. Like, I know the posters and this and that, and they're kind of leading you to believe something. I'm not going to spoil nothing. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it could work, but it does. Mm-hmm. He is a very deep character for an animated raccoon. when you have all these kind of heavy hitting actors surrounding him, you know? The car door scene. Separate note. The car door scene where he's like, push the button.
Oh, with Nebula.
Yeah, open the effing door. That is you. That's your personality. That is your interactions with you. I probably have seen that exact interaction with you. And I'm pretty sure I could be mistaken. What I saw on the internet could be mistaken. I think that's the first hard F-bomb dropped in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's assumed common sense is what it is. You're assuming the other person has common sense, or they at least are aware of what they're supposed to do in a situation. And I think you're right. I think it is the first hard F.
Yeah. I thought the exposition to the plot was a bit clunky and lazy, the way they kind of got into it. I don't think they really... I guess you do know what the beef is with Adam Warlock. Not spoiling anything there. He's in the commercials. You know what the beef is there with the Sovereign and the Guardians, but doesn't he kind of just... Does he come into the movie before he kind of just jumps them in the nowhere?
No.
He's just like, bam!
Yeah, that's his initial scene. All you see in Guardians 2 is his cocoon. You don't see him at all. So that's his introduction to the Marvel Universe. But that's actually very true to the cartoon. It's very true to the cartoon because that is what happens with him is he is unleashed early. He is hatched from his cocoon too soon. And he struggles with emotions and understanding. Yeah,
but he's kind of just like, bam, he's busting through wrecking shop. Like, I feel like they should have mentioned a little bit earlier in the movie, or they could, I don't know. It just felt very rushed into like the conflict of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot.
I think that's telling that, hey, this isn't going to be a movie about him.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. I get it. Once it got into, because you kind of were like, okay, this is what this whole movie is going to be about. It's you get the major plot right, like very quickly into the movie. There's no build up to it. It's just like, bam, you're in it. You're kind of like, I don't know if knowing how long the movie is, I don't know if it'll sustain for an entire 2 hour movie, you know? But once it got into it, it gets better and better. And you're like, okay, the snowball has rolled and gotten bigger here. And I see this is going to work. Is it the best standalone Marvel trilogy? Is it the best trilogy film of any of the Marvel ones?
Are you asking me if Guardians of the Galaxy is the best trilogy out of the Marvel Universe?
Yes, and is this the best individual trilogy film, third film?
You're trying to dig into my review here? I thought that this was probably one of the best Marvel films that they have put out, in my personal opinion. And that's, I thought that they got away from what the comic books say just enough, and they stayed true to the comic books just enough to make a movie that will bring in all audiences. So yes, I do think it might be the best third film outside of the Avengers.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, outside the Avengers, the best third film for sure in any 3-film or more series. But I don't find it
up there overall, with Civil War.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right.
Can't forget Civil War was Captain America Part 3.
I think I got to change to that one. That one was fantastic. But just overall trilogy, gosh, I gotta say, I don't know. But you know what? Captain America 1, I think is so bad. I did not like Captain America Part 1.
But Winter Soldier is also one of the best Marvel films ever made.
I know. Yeah. So would I call it the best Marvel trilogy? It's close. I love the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. Besides Spider Monkey, or what does he call him? Night Monkey. What is he called?
Yeah, Night Monkey.
That was horrible. That whole part of that. But this isn't a Spider-Man review. As much as I wish it was, I love Spider-Man. The soundtrack was fantastic. Sorry, I'm going to spoil this. The beginning opening with Radiohead's "Creep." Oh man, the whole and it's funny because everybody in the theater that I could see down in front of me, every time a song comes on, it's just
oh gosh,
heads
just
bobbing.
So the audience knows, I'm watching this again on Monday, tomorrow. Like, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
watch this film. Well, maybe not tomorrow, but Tuesday. I'm going to go back and watch this film again. It was, okay. Go ahead. Soundtrack. Everybody's head
Uh,
is bobbing.
the soundtrack was fantastic. It really makes these films. The
Mm-hmm.
Guardians films is synonymous with just great music, a great
Yeah.
soundtrack. At times, it's just a little too cheesy for me.
Really?
It just the dialogue, some of the jokes, it's a little too.
Okay.
It feels a little lazy. Some of the costume design, some of the set design stuff is just a little too out there.
Okay.
It's the prison place. I believe, what is that? It's not a prison. What are they? That weird gelatinous space floating thing.
You're
And
taking all my stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The living organism.
Yeah.
In outer space.
Yeah, and they're the costumes of the security guys. I just was like,
You didn't get that?
no.
They're white blood cells in the organism.
Real okay.
I got it. I was like, oh snap, they're white blood cells. That's what they're supposed to be. That was the joke, is Nathan Fillion is a white blood cell.
Okay. So
and
it's
they're
basically
defending the organism. The living organism.
it's basically Osmosis Jones. Or Strange
Yes!
World. Or Strange
Yeah, 'cause
World
it's
if
a
you're
living-
younger.
And then even Anna's like, oh, that's why the maintenance is in the red blood cells, because it's the red blood repairing things.
That went right over my head. We all know that this is kind of the end for some characters. Personally, as Joe Schmo on the street, I don't understand why you would turn down this cash cow, this money printing machine known as
the
Marvel.
guy sitting on your couch watching American Ninja Warrior going, I could do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Paint me green. I'll play Gamora till I'm 60.
Gotcha. Okay.
I give it a popcorn and 2.
Popcorn and 2. For me, it was a popcorn and 3. I know I like to just let you guys know right away. As far as I gave a bit of my review already. As far as the soundtrack is concerned, I thought this was the most perfect use of music in the Marvel Universe, even with the other two Guardians of the Galaxy ever, because it is a 2.5-hour movie. And because the way they use the soundtrack, it just flowed. It was so... he did such a perfect job to me with the blend of the music, and it was every scene, just like... And it was brain candy. It was just releasing dopamine the whole film. The soundtrack was, and it flows right into the next scene and right into the next scene. And there's still solid dialogue. I know you didn't like all of it. You thought some of it was a bit childish. But it was just the way, the use of music in this film and the songs that they chose was so good. The organic blood cell, or pardon me, the living organism in space. I thought that was fantastic. When Peter Quill looks to Gamora, there's a line, and you guys will know when you see it, I knew she was into me. I thought that was hilarious. Like, what men will do to prove to a woman, like, look, you should be jealous. I thought it was so funny. Because that's all he wanted in that moment, was for her to be jealous. I thought the wrap-up of the trilogy was perfect. It was ideal. It's kind of the way you do want to see it go out. Each character gets a bow. Each character gets a nice bow. Stay for the cutscenes. There's 2 cutscenes. And I'll never think about mowing someone's lawn the same ever again. The villain, one takeaway. Oh God, there is no God. Why do you think I've done all this? Someone had to be the creator.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my.
He's a great villain, great character. One of the best. He's got to be up there with the best fully developed character of Marvel. I mean, you don't get like a backstory or anything really like that, but just a very deep character.
The High Evolutionary is easily the most hateable character in the Marvel Universe. Easily. He is the easiest character to hate in the Marvel Universe, and the actor portrayed that perfectly because of the way he treats Rocket and the way, I don't want to spoil anything, the way he treats his experiments is just disgusting. He is a disgusting blight on all of the universe because it is Guardians of the Galaxy. So I will say this, the Guardians are back to save the Marvel Galaxy because it has been rough. Thor 4 was okay. Ant-Man was not good. And then this one came out and they said, hey, we're still here and we're still putting out great films. And that's how I felt about Guardians of the Galaxy. So I did get in late breaking news, Jordan.
Okay.
We do have a drunk classic for next week.
Oh, boy.
It is Black Dynamite. By the way, we miss you, Josh. Wish you were here. And if you want to handle the butter on top for me, because it is your choice.
The butter on top. Well, it is a dead week in the theaters and kind of also for streaming. There's nothing new coming out, but something intriguing came out this last Friday on Hulu. It's a movie called The Boston Strangler, Keira Knightley. So we're going to see how that is.
We're going to check it out. So we're giving you guys a free week. We appreciate you all for listening. Thank you. You made a comeback for us as far as the audience concerned. Please share us, rate, and review us. This is a good show. We put it out for all of you, and we want to make sure that we are giving you quality reviews that are relatable, not something too highfalutin.
Yeah, at Popcorn and Beers, Popcorn and Beer. I keep saying beers. It's at Popcorn and Beer, no S.
Popcorn
and Beer. We need to get like a little banner because it's not a super straightforward name, but Popcorn and Beer. And also support the writers, man. Let's get the writers paid. Let's get them back to work so that we can keep enjoying all these great movies and TV shows.
If you don't support that, you do not want to see an AI-generated TV show. We saw what happened with the AI-generated beer commercial, and that was terrible. Mm-hmm. So, signing off for Popcorn and Beers. As always, we'll see you at the movie. Bring your popcorn. We got the beer.